Okay, so I'm Stuart. Thank you for coming and thank you for inviting me up here. It's only my second visit to Aberdeen ever, so it's nice to be back. I'm here to give you an introduction to using Zend Expressive for building APIs. Thank you all for the introductions about yourselves. A little bit about me. I've been in the industry for 25 years now, and during that time I've worked in startups, academia, I've done enterprises, and I've done government projects as well. So I've seen a lot. I haven't seen it all by any means, but I have seen a lot, and I've done most roles from CTO downwards, except front-end stuff. I'm absolutely crap at that. I've got no design sense whatsoever. I run my own company, Ganbaro Digital, where I've given myself the job title of Chief Software Archaeologist. It's much more fun than Managing Director. But it also describes my approach to software as well. The company does have a Twitter handle. Feel free to follow it. I do tweet from there occasionally about tech. I will be tweeting more frequently now that most of my talks for this year are over. You can follow me on Twitter if you want, but as Danny would be able to tell you, I'm very passionate about my causes. I'm very passionate about my hobbies. Would you say that was fair, Danny?
Yeah.
Okay. And I tweet a lot about both. So if you're someone who only wants to follow me for tech stuff, follow the business instead of following me, because otherwise you just end up unfollowing me. Okay. Right. How many of you build APIs as part of your job at all? A lot of you said you're developers, so quite a few of you. And what frameworks do you use? Do you use a framework?
Yeah.
What do you use? Laravel. Okay. How about yourself?
.NET.
.NET. Okay. Still a framework.
Got it.
And Laravel as well. And anyone else do anything with APIs? No.
I have done without knowing it. That's my concern.
Without
I get
knowing
told
it.
I've just been doing it and I didn't
Okay.
know.
Well, this may, if you find yourself doing it again in the future, this may give you a reference point to help you next time. We'll find out. Right. Unsurprisingly, given the title of the topic, I prefer to use Zend Expressive as my framework for APIs. So the whole point, and it's specifically for building APIs that consume and generate JSON. So I'm not looking at anything supporting SOAP. I'm not looking at anything supporting XML at all. Very specifically that narrow thing. Modern world, JSON everywhere. Life's too short for XML. Life's too short and really anything to do with SOAP at all. So I'm going to, yes, it's keeping up, that's good. So I'm going to show you my personal approach for using Zend Expressive for building APIs. Now, I want to make a point here. I'm only sharing my preferences, my practices, and the reasoning behind them. I'm not here to say this is the definitive way to do it by any means. Those of you who are using Laravel and .NET Core to build APIs will have different approaches. They're just as valid, okay? So I'm not here to try and convince you to dump what you're doing and switch to Zend Expressive by any means. I'm simply showing you there's another option if you ever need one. Sound fair? All right then. So there's 5 areas I promised I would cover in this talk when I wrote up the abstract. I'm going to spend a lot of time explaining why Zend Expressive in particular. There's quite a few things I want to share with you about my approach to designing APIs that are very important to me. We're going to look at how to get started after this talk you think, oh, I might have a play with Zend Expressive, it looks interesting. So I'll show you how to do that, and I'll show you how to lay out your code in a project as well. Then we've almost got a talk within a talk. I said I was going to look at 6 areas where you need to build on top of Zend Expressive in order to create a fully functioning API server. It's almost a mini talk in its own right, that. So I've condensed it down as much as I can to fit in. And finally, I'm going to say a couple of slides about testing, but I'm not really going to go into a lot of detail about testing today. The talk's already over an hour, even with everything condensed. Something else I want to make a point of in this talk. I am not going to mention anything about Symfony, anything about Laravel, Cake PHP, .NET Core, or Ruby on Rails or any other frameworks. I'm not here to compare them. I'm not trying to say this is better than those by any means. I don't use those other frameworks for APIs, so I don't feel I'm even qualified to even attempt such a comparison.